For over 40 years, California's most wanted killer lived in plain sight, an ordinary man hiding a monstrous secret. California, mid-1970s. Suburban streets that once felt safe are suddenly haunted by terror. A masked intruder breaks into homes late at night, binding his victims with ligatures, stealing personal items, and leaving behind a trail of fear. Soon, the crimes escalate, from burglaries, to assaults, and finally to murder. The press calls him many names: the East Area Rapist, the original Night Stalker. But years later, one name would echo across history: the Golden State Killer. Between 1974 and 1986, he committed more than 120 burglaries, at least 51 assaults, and 13 known murders. He seemed to vanish into the night without leaving a trace. No clear fingerprints. No solid witnesses. Just terrorized communities, and investigators who felt they were chasing a ghost. For decades, the case went cold. Entire task forces were formed and disbanded. Victims aged, detectives retired, and the monster who had destroyed lives seemed destined to remain unmasked. But then, over 30 years later, a breakthrough would arrive from the most unexpected place. In 2018, investigators tried something new. They uploaded the killer's DNA, collected from old crime scenes, into genealogy, a public genealogy website where ordinary people search for family roots. To their shock, the database revealed distant relatives of the unknown killer. Piece by piece, using family trees and ancestry links, detectives narrowed the possibilities. One name rose to the surface: Joseph James DeAngelo. He was no shadowy drifter. DeAngelo was a retired police officer, living quietly in a suburban neighborhood. A husband. A father. To everyone who knew him, he was unremarkable. But detectives had a suspicion, and they needed proof. They began to track him, collecting DNA from his trash, a tissue here, a razor there. Each sample told the same story: it was a perfect match to the Golden State Killer. When police finally confronted DeAngelo in 2018, he was 72 years old. Decades of silence crumbled. In 2020, he pled guilty to multiple murders and assaults, sentenced to life in prison without parole. But the case had an eerie twist beyond the capture. A true crime author, Michelle McNamara, had reignited public attention with her book I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Her relentless investigation, though she passed away before DeAngelo's arrest, brought new pressure and visibility, pushing detectives toward innovation. And that innovation, genetic genealogy, became a turning point in modern crime solving. It raised debates about privacy, ethics, and how far investigators should go. But it also gave victims something they thought they'd never see: justice. The Golden State Killer, once a faceless nightmare, turned out to be hiding in plain sight. Proof that sometimes the most ordinary face can conceal the darkest secrets. Please like, subscribe and share my channel if you like this story.